Okay, so I thought I'd make a tutorial about how to make lighting in 3JS a little bit more realistic in terms of adding the lights to a 3D object. So say, for example, you wanted to add a light to a ceiling lamp, for example, and you wanted that light to follow the ceiling lamp. And so, for example, if the light had to sway, or the lamp had to sway, the light follows that lamp. So just to give you an idea of what the scene looks like at the moment, as you can see, there's not really anything going on because there's no light coming in from the environment. So there's no ambient light and there's no directional light. So just to give you an idea of what the scene looks like, just debug on, and then you can see all the colliders and things. So this is what the scene looks like, but obviously there's no light, so you can't really see any of the materials. So let's just turn that off for now. Go back over here. And my idea was that we'd have 3 light sources essentially. And each one would be representative of a spotlight. So let's use ref. I'm using TypeScript, but yeah, I'm not really adding the actual type just to save time for right now. So when you add a new spotlight in, I think the additional, or not additional, the default parameter for the position is 0, 0, and 0, and I think intensity is quite low as well. But just to give you an idea of what it looks like without any changing of parameters and things, this is what it would look like. It kind of look like that Mr. Bean light at the end of the episode. So it doesn't look that great, but we'll go over how to change all these things. Also, you can see that it's not really coming from the light itself, because the light is offset to 1 on the x-axis, and this is 0. So let's fix that. So let's go over here. We're going to use use frame. There's a little hook over here. And the reason why I wanted to use frame instead of something else was just so that it's constantly following the lamp. So let's just create a conditional to see if the lamp does actually exist, then only do the following. Let's go over here. Let's make a little comment, main light. And it's very simple actually. So you just go to ceiling lamp.current or whatever your 3D object is called. So we just do add and then light 1 current. And did I spell something wrong? I did. I spelled it wrong over there. It's not my strong suit. So just change it over here as well. So light 1. And what you do as well is you add the target of the light as well, or the spotlight. So let's just current.target. And since we didn't add any parameters in terms of intensity or angle, you're not going to really see much. I think this is actually the light itself. So as you can see, it's added to the lamp, but we're going to change the intensity and things like that now. So just to give you an idea of what it's going to look like, light 1.current dot intensity equals 0. No, that's not right. 45. We're gonna make it 45. 0.05 is coming later. So as you can see, it's not looking that great. Well, it's better than what it was, but as you can see, the edge of the spotlight is a little bit sharp and the angle is a little bit high. So I think the default angle is always 1. So what we want to do is bring down the angle from 1 to 0.5. So the bigger the angle, the greater the, I guess you could say, the span of the spotlight will be. So we just get angle and 0.75. And as you can see, it's a little bit smaller, and it looks a little bit more ideal for what we want to achieve. So next, to sort out the sharpness of the edge, we can use something called penumbra. And penumbra just, I guess you can say, takes the edge off. So let's change that. I think it's from a value of 0 to 1. So the closer it is to 1, the greater the shadowy effect is. Not really the shadowy effect, but more the dampening effect of the edge. So as you can see, it's a little dampened. As you see, it gets closer to the shadow. There's a little bit more. As it gets closer to the edge, there's a little bit more shadowy stuff coming out. So it looks a little bit more realistic, I guess you can say. So what we're going to do now is add the ambient light. So let's make a comment over here, ambient. And essentially we're just going to copy everything and just change the parameters. So let's do that. Next, number 2. Get this over here, same thing. I'm just going to name the 2 differently just to make sure that we don't confuse ourselves later on. Name, and then ambient. And obviously change the ref as well, because you don't want to make the mistake. I've done that quite a few times actually. And they just copy everything and change the refs and all the parameters and things, and then you should get the ambient effect. So light 2, and light 2. But since this is ambient, I don't want it to be the same intensity, and I want the angle to be a little bit greater, so it spreads out a little bit further in the room, and penumbra can be a little bit higher as well. So obviously I did these tweaks a little bit beforehand as well, so it's not that I just thought about this like right now. I spent quite a bit of time trying to find out the right ones, but this should work now if I did do everything correctly. And there you go. So there's the main light, as you can see, and then you have the little ambient lights as well. But let's sort out the backflash for now. So it's a little bit more different, or it's not going to be the same approach, because we can't really add the targets to the lamp, and then we can't add the light to the lamp and then make the lamp the targets, because it's just not going to work. Since it's the parent, you can't make the child target the parent, because the child is part of the parent. So we're going to do something else. I probably could have just done Control-C over here, but that's fine. Let's get over here. So what I thought of was maybe just get a different object, what I have over here, and my goodness, what did I do? Okay, let's just take this for now and then uncomment it over here. And it should work. So we're going to use this as the target. So we're just going to create another spotlight. And there you go, spotlights. This is not going to be the ref, so we're going to make the target. Make light 3 dot current. So now the light will shine on the little box over here that we have. And just for the position, because I think the position of the x-axis is 0, it should be 1, the same as this one over here. And then make that 0, and 0 is fine. So I think if you go in the scene, you'll see the light at the bottom of the, there you go. So obviously you can see the intensity is not that great, but we'll change that now. And we can actually change it in the spotlight component itself. It's actually pretty easy. So intensity, and then this 10 should be fine. And it should look a little bit better. But obviously the angle is not that great either, so you can see that it's playing around a bit too much. So let's change the angle. Oops. Angle equals. Yeah, second time I've done it. Angle equals. Let's make it 1.2, and let me see what it looks like now. So it's a little bit smaller. Actually, it's a little bit bigger. What we're going to do now is going to change the penumbra to 0.8. Penumbra 0.8. And it's going to look a little bit better already. But what we want to do as well is just change the decay. So I think the source is coming over here. So we want it to weaken with more distance. We can use something called decay. And I think it's not going to be very noticeable. But I kind of like the way it looks afterwards. Or I thought there was a difference, so it looks a little bit better in my eyes at least. So yeah, but now we want to add like a little bit of sway to the lamp. So what we're going to do now is we're going to use a little bit of trigonometry, and it's actually very simple. So we're just going to use time equals dates dot now to get the epoch time, or epoch time, however you say it. We're going to multiply by a value of 0.005. I just found this on the internet somewhere, so I just copied it. So yeah, you can change the value according to how you want, but this is for me. Yeah, I've played around with other values, but this works the best for me. So make comment over here, sway of lamp, and this goes heating lamp, dot current, dot rotation on the z-axis. This equals 0 rotation. It's not the spelling that's a problem. It's that I didn't do current. There you go. We always wanted to be on 0, because since the lamp doesn't have any other rotation value on the z-axis, we're going to keep it at 0 for now. And I'm just going to plus math dot sine. Technically use cos and tan as well, but I feel like sine does the best in terms of what I want to achieve. And 1.7 is just the repetition, or the amount of times the loop finishes. I think is the best way that I understood it. So I think we'll just do a demo of that now. So call 0.0075, and so the bigger, I can probably use this as an example. So the closer the value is to 1, the crazier the sine wave gets. So for example, now it's probably something like this. But if we had to increase the value, then it'd be something like that. So as you can see, it sways a little bit, which is perfect. And as you can see as well, the light follows the lamp as it sways, which gives off a nice looking effect, which is perfect. And what we want to do next is just to show you what I meant by that. So say now, for example, we increase the sine, so it's doing that wave every 1.7 times, but if we want to increase that, we can put 3. So I guess you can say it's just the speed that the thing does it at. That was very technical, but yeah. I'm not very good with words. But yeah, so hopefully that's a good demonstration of what I was trying to point out. And we can probably do the same with the box as well. Lights 3 dot currents, but instead of changing the rotation, we can change the x position. X equals to 1, since it already has a position of 1 in terms of the x-axis. And then we can just copy everything over here. Not from there, actually. Control C. And then there you go. So just to point out something, I don't actually want it to be swaying or moving as little as it is. I want it to go a little bit further away from the lamp itself. So we're going to increase the sine wave over here to 2.5, and now it goes a little bit further. It looks, in my eyes, it looks a little bit better. And as you can see, it moves very unnoticingly. I don't know if that's a word, but yeah, I feel like it adds like a little small little nuance to the scene, so it looks good. And just to change the position of the box so you can't see it, just bring it a little bit high in the scene, and there you go. It looks, in my eyes, well, in my opinion, it looks a little bit better than your English than what I did before. So yeah, I think it looks nice, and gives a very cool environmental effect to it as well. So yeah, there you go.